Alright gentlemen, I'm going to give you a little video here on how the Kabul Hotel Intercontinental model goes together. It actually has quite a few pieces, but it's pretty simple to put together. And I'm not actually going to build it here in this video because the video would just run way too long, I think. What I'm going to do is identify the different parts, show you how they go together, where they go, and what's what. If you're looking for helpful hints and tips on actually how to put together and finish a cardstock model, I'm going to put a link to another video right here, right there. Click on that link and that'll be some tips on how to put these things together. Okay, I'm going to just show you a few things. So first of all, there's two resin cast parts. That's this part here, the sort of lobby entrance, and then this roof bit that goes on top of this the ballroom area. Those two parts are resin, so we don't even need to worry about those. We just put those aside right now. Okay, there's three basic assemblies once the resin pieces are gone. There's the main building right here, and that's what most of these parts down here are for. There's this little bit on top, which I'm pretty sure is the mechanics for the elevator system. It's the only thing that's above the top floor, so probably there's elevator shafts going down in there, so that's probably what that is. And then there's this other bit here, which is where the ballroom is, the lobby, and some other things, and that gets the resin cast part on top. So what I want to do is show you the different parts and what they are. Okay, first of all, there's the top of the hotel. I'm going to call this the front. So if you're holding it this way, it's angled that way. This is the front, which on this model is this side here because it has the doors leading in, so we call that the front. Okay, so the front will have these two little slots on the left. What those slots are is for orienting this bit on top. This little bit has two little tabs on it that fit down into there, so it fits perfectly in the right spot, so you can't get that wrong. So that's the front. I mean the front of the top. Now you'll also see four very similar pieces with all these window cutouts in them. Now what you need to do is take these parts, put them all together here, and you should notice that two of them are taller than the others. The longer ones are the front, and also the one with the three door cutouts in it, that's another clue that that's the front. So let's lay those down right here on the front of the building. The other two are for the back side, and the side that has no tabs or slots, that's the center. They go together like that. So we'll put those together like that. Then you've got your two end pieces. Very easy to identify. They're interchangeable, doesn't matter which one you use. So once you have those 2, 4, 6, 7 pieces identified, you can go ahead and put together the basic structure of the main hotel. And it's just a tab and slot situation where this goes in here, and then the next piece goes there, and then the end piece goes there. That goes together very simply. Once you get that all together, one of the things I've done here, if you'll notice here, there's a bit of trim around the top here. That does a couple of things. One, on the real hotel there is a bit of trim up there, so I wanted to include that. But what it also does is when you put this together and you have these exposed tabs and slots here that you can see, this trim covers that up, so it's one less thing that you actually have to deal with later. So same rule applies with these pieces of trim as with the fronts and backs, is line them all up and figure out that there's two longer ones and two shorter ones. Two shorter ones are for the back, two longer ones are for the front, because the length of this wall is longer than the length of that wall. So get the top, front and backs, ends, and then there's bits of trim for the end as well. Those go on, and those go just like this across here. So once you've done that, you've basically got the main structure together. Let's get this out of the way. And then you'll notice that there are some just look like blank pieces. Looks like there's nothing to them except these two ones have a few, I don't know if you'll see it in the video, but they do have a few engraved lines in them that look like windows. What these are is the pieces that go on the inside of the model that create your blue windows. They just go inside here. Now all you need to do is take these pieces and just take some blue spray paint and just spray them blue. If you want to get fancy, you can do a little dry brushing. I like to do a little bit of white, a little bit at an angle. It just gives that kind of sun reflecting kind of look. So you can get as fancy as you want with them. But once again, same routine. Two of them are longer, two of them are shorter. The longer ones go in the front, the shorter ones go in the back, and then these two guys go on the ends. Now depending on how neat you are when you put this together, with your glue in the corners, you may have to trim just a tiny bit off of each one of these to get them to fit inside. If you got a bunch of glue boogers in the corners, they take up some room, so you need to, trim off a little to make up for that. And I actually had to do that on mine, so it's not a big deal. Just trim a little bit off. Don't trim too much, or you'll get into the windows, and you'll have a blank spot there. But that's what those 6 pieces are for. Those they go inside and they just get painted blue, or your choice of color. Now these guys right here, all of these little parts here. Okay, these two, before I get into these others, these two are the front entrance roof things. Some of the pictures I saw, it was a little hard to tell whether or not there were any kind of supports or anything. I just cut a couple of pieces of dowel and stuck them on there. You can do that if you want, or you can just leave them off. That's totally up to you, but we do give you these to put on there. Okay, so now this little group of bits here is what I'm calling the elevator mechanism housing on the roof. Now this goes together pretty simply. You've got your two sides here. You've got your roof piece that goes here. You've got an end piece that fits in there and has a little tab on the bottom, like I was telling you, that fits into the roof of the model. You can see the little slots there, those tabs fit there. So that kind of tells you that's where that one goes. Now the one that goes on the other end is about twice as tall, and it also has a little tab. There we go. Has a little tab on the bottom. So there's a centerpiece as well, which is this bit right here. Let me get it in the frame. There, that guy. So if you take that centerpiece, put your roof into it, put your side wall on, glue all that together, put your end on, put your other end on, put this top on, and then put this back side on. And that's all there is to that. It's a little complicated because there's quite a few little tiny pieces, but if you do a little dry run, get it all together and figure out which piece is which, and look at a picture of the model on the site, should be no problem. Should go right together. But definitely do a dry run first before you start gluing things. Make sure you got the right parts in the right places. Last but not least is this structure here. That is the ballroom and some other, probably a restaurant in there and whatnot. Very simple. Only thing you need to be aware of is on the side that has the extension on it, there are two very similar walls here. One of them has a roll-up garage door engraved into it. That should be facing the front, should be facing this way. The other piece has nothing on it, goes on the back. So the first thing you'll want to do with this is identify which of these walls is which. The one that goes on this side, this is the side that also gets the resin cast piece. It has 3 engraved windows on this end only, and then the rest is blank. So that piece goes on right there. And then there's a piece that goes across the front that has windows all the way across. That goes on across the front as such. And then you'll want to put on the back piece, which has 2 windows and then 4 windows, and nothing here because that's where this bit comes out. So this piece actually goes on like so. Once that's on, I would put these three on. There's nothing back here because that butts up against the hotel. Once those three are on, I would go ahead and let that dry for a few minutes so it's easier to work with. Then it's a matter of attaching this guy, the one with the little garage door engraved in it, the one that goes on the back that's similar, and then the end piece that goes on here. And then you've got that together. And that's really all there is to it. There are quite a few pieces. Once, you know, when you get your package, it's going to look a bit like that. So get everything sorted out. First thing you can figure out, like I said, is these blanks. These are for the inside windows. You can take those aside first thing and go paint them blue or whatever color you're going to use, black or gray or whatever you're going to use for the windows, and just put those aside. And then find your top, your front walls, your back walls, your end walls, your trim bits, two longer ones in the front, two shorter ones in the back, and then for the ballroom area, you've got the roof, you've got the three long walls, one with all windows, one with 2 and 4, one with only 3. And the guy with the little garage door goes there. The opposite of that piece is identical but without the garage door. And then the end piece. And that's all of those. And then, again, lay out your elevator mechanics room. This is, it gets confusing. That's the top of that. That's the end of that. That's the end of that. These guys go in there. And this is the one that goes in the center. So that's how it goes together. There's quite a few pictures of the model on the website that you can refer to. If you're putting this together and you have any questions, snap a digital picture of what you're working on and send me an email and I'll get right back to you, try to clear anything up. But I think if you just do a dry run and put everything together dry before you start gluing things, you'll figure out how it goes together. It's really not that difficult. Just a lot of parts, but it goes together pretty nicely. Thank you very much, guys. Have fun with the model.